Good afternoon, everybody. We're here at the 11th year, beginning the 11th year with Board of Advisors, and we're at the Ritz Carlton in Las Colinas for our quarterly meeting. And I've got a really special guest here today that's a new member of ours and a new advisor of ours he's got a really interesting story, and we want to tell it a little bit today and also introduce you. And welcome, David Darnell. Welcome to the Board of Advisors.
Yes, thank you,
I'm so glad you're here.
Yep, glad to be here.
We've had just such a fun few months, and you probably noticed by the red lanyards in the room that we've got some really hotshot new members, and you're one of them. So I'm really glad you're here, because that's what we're all about, is the more great members that we have, the more value we provide to the existing members, and that's what it's all about. So really just thrilled to have you here, and can't wait to get to know you a little bit better. And I understand that you and I both know a thing or two about staffing and so forth, so we'll want to get into that. But so give me a little background. I mean, where'd you what's the Luke Combs song? Where'd you go to school? What would you be doing if you weren't doing this? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I don't know anybody that went to school to get into our industry. Everybody kind of falls into the recruiting industry. I actually only did I have 1 year of college. Was not for me. The entrepreneurial spirit was calling, and so I got after it at a young age. Had some wins, had some failures, learned along the way, and then a little over 12 years ago, I joined one of the world's largest talent solutions firm in the world as a division director, where I led a large technology consulting services team, experienced significant growth, did that for about 3 years, was recruited by them. I was a client and then was recruited by them, and then broke off and started my own firm, had that for 5 or 6 years, and then worked for another large firm for about 3 years. And then a little over a year ago, stepped out onto my own again to kind of use everything that I learned from those experiences to really try to build something special this time.
Yeah, sounds like about a dozen years of learning the staffing business and getting to be an expert in it. And, I know personally how challenging that is. I've employed thousands and thousands of people over the years, and so I get the nuances of it and the difficulty. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
You're out with your own shingle now.
Yeah.
And your company?
It's Entius, Entius.
Okay. I saw that and it was so cool. I couldn't remember it.
Yeah, that's right. It's a combination of enterprise and genius.
Great.
Yep. So we work with agile. We work with small companies to large companies. So anywhere from 5 million in revenue to, we have clients that do over 2 billion a year in revenue, some of which we have exclusivity with. They work only with us. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, do you favor a certain industry? Do you favor a certain, clients, what size and all that? I think I mentioned to you earlier, back, it's probably been 10 years now ago when I had a large staffing company, right. And we had when Radio Shack went bankrupt and Sprint wanted to be in their stores, we staffed about 4,500 people in probably 16 weeks. So, I understand.
Applause to you. That's crazy.
I understand a thing or two when it comes to staffing. And then recently we exited a company that had over 1,000 employees. So I understand the challenges. What do you focus on? What's your ideal client, or what's your ideal situation for the people you're hiring? Would you say?
So we've kind of fallen into. I've been a generalist by trade for all these years. I've done everything from operations to technology to finance and accounting. I've played in all the big spaces in that industry or in our industry, and we've kind of fallen into with Entius manufacturing, construction, and healthcare. And then there's a fourth vertical that covers a bunch of industries that's more of a passion project for me, and that's sales. So I personally love to go out, talk to salespeople, and find strong, talented salespeople to put in front of clients. And that could be anything from a $60,000 a year account executive to a $250K base salary with a huge commission package for a large enterprise organization leading a sales team, right? So there's a lot of ambiguity there, if you will.
So you like dealing with the salespeople, but the rest of your firm deals with healthcare and manufacturing?
Correct. And construction.
And construction.
Yeah. So on the construction side, it's typically going to be the higher skilled stuff, right? So you hear me say that a lot. Higher, not that general labor in that industry, it doesn't take a skill. Like I can't do that. But what I mean by that is like superintendents, project managers for major civil projects. That would be one vertical. Nurses, nurse managers, and then we're working on getting into more of the physician space in the healthcare area. And then the lowest level we do right now is phlebotomists. So we have exclusivity with a large pathology company that we help them exclusively with phlebotomists, and we'll work 20 to 30 of those at any given time.
Okay, good. Well, that's really good for me to know, because we've got one of our very valuable members. His name's Ben Lee.
Okay.
And if you haven't met him yet, I'll introduce you to him tonight, because he's Ben does a lot of healthcare stuff that's really cool. I'll let him describe it to you.
Yeah, great.
And I know he's got phlebotomists that go around and do all that kind of stuff. So that's great. What's the so you've got an AI twist on it though, right? And I mean, that's really how you win over and over for your clients, is you've got an AI twist that is unique, or front leading in the industry, right? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So there's two things to that. One is we're very agile as an organization. So we're able to pivot quickly when our clients have a need. So whatever that may be, if they need to switch the path that they're going down with hiring, it's very easy for us to reallocate resources, which leads into a lot of the AI enablement that we have within the organization. So we have some off-the-shelf stuff that we use, and we have some proprietary stuff that we've built in-house, and they all talk to each other. So we have everything from automated sourcing that goes out and finds the talent for us, which is very important in with talent scarcity, if you will, for highly skilled talent. Like most highly skilled talent they're not looking for new jobs. So that helps us from a sourcing perspective. And then on the BD side, on the sales side, we have just deployed essentially a fully autonomous sales team that goes out, finds companies that are posting jobs, scrapes those, finds out what companies they're for, when were they posted, what's the name of the title, finds the hiring manager, gets the email, sends them an email that comes from me, and then drops them into a sequence. And that runs 24/7, 365 to generate leads for us. So we are in growth mode right now.
So so really the big advantage you have is you can, I mean, the two advantages I assume you have are that you can staff better quality candidates and faster. Is it
100%? So we do not post jobs. That's a big part that we do. We do not have job postings. People do not apply to the requisitions that we work. We go after passive talent. Not to say that people that are looking for jobs aren't qualified or couldn't be a good fit for a position, but typically your passive talent is the type of talent that's going to hang around a little bit longer, the ones that aren't looking for a job. So we sell a service to our client, but we sell opportunity to candidates, I would say even more so than we do on the client side.
And then your retention's better. I mean, the costs of hiring are lower. The retention is better. Everything's more efficient if you have that right person, which we both know. Yeah,
our retention rate from a candidate, not from a client perspective, we're 100% currently, and again we're on a year, so that's a small time frame. But from a candidate perspective, we're like 98.5%, 99% retention rate with the talent that we place.
And that's for what period of time? I mean, that's
once they're there, because our talent goes to work. They never work for us. They only go work for our clients, right? So that's through the life of the deal, right? Through the life of the placement, our retention rate is like 98.5% to 99%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we all love to have that?
Yeah, right. But again, it's a lot lower volume than what you've done, right? Hiring 4,000 people in 16 weeks. I mean, that's such a big volume game. We'll have significantly less placements per month, but at probably a higher salary, higher caliber, in terms of the skill level for the talent. Because we're talking about managers, executives, directors in a lot of the cases.
Yeah, when we did the 4,000, that was retail.
Exactly.
For the most part, retail and managers and so forth.
Same game, different playbook.
We actually rented the whole bottom floor. It was a bank in the building that we were in at the time when we got that gig, and we had people. We had it stuffed with recruiters, and they were even sitting in the safe of the old bank.
Wow.
because we didn't have time to remodel it. We didn't have time to do anything. So we just got it done.
Yeah, that's great.
But that's cool. So how did you decide that this was going to be your space?
The talent solution space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, I've to date doing this for 12 and a half years. I've not met a single person that's like, I want to be a recruiter when I grow.
Mm-hmm.
Now my 12-year-old son is saying that now because he sees how much fun I have. He's about the only person I've heard that said they want to get into this space. But I was a client. So I was using one of these services. Again, I worked for a $7 billion talent solutions firm. That's who I went to. They were my client first. And I heard it. I liked what they were doing. It just seemed to work. And once I started, I fell in love with it. I think earlier somebody asked me how do I like it? I'm obsessed. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there is something special about being able to place an asset that happens to be a human within a company, and you get to drive revenue, you get to drive change, you get to drive culture. I mean, there's not a lot of things that cover all of those bases. Technology can drive revenue, right? Probably not going to drive culture in a lot of cases. But with human capital, you get to have such an impact on the business. And I love business in general, that it's just fun to see.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get to talk to, so many different people. I get to have some very intelligent conversations. I get to have some very crazy conversations because you never know who you're going to talk
Sure.
to. I'm sure you saw a lot of that in the flow of candidates that you went through. Every day is different. It is every single day there is something different either happening with a client, a new client, a candidate, an interview. There's always something different happening.
Well, yeah, and your industry is a win-win, right? I mean, in some ways, I relate it to board of advisors, where everybody in this room down here wants to win and wants to help others win.
Right.
And so, when you place that candidate, they've got a new career that they wanted, and the employer has the employee that they wanted. So it makes sense that it's fulfilling and satisfying for you. So
yeah, the coolest part is when you place somebody, you see them get promoted, and then they become the client, right? And now they're asking you to backfill them into the. So there's just all sorts of success stories that come with that are it's pretty cool.
That's great. How's your experience been at Board of Advisors this week? I know you've only been here for like 40 hours or something.
Yeah,
it probably feels like 100.
I technically joined, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, and feel very fortunate that one of my clients is the one that referred me. So I have a client that has been with Board of Advisors for 6 or 7 years, and he was talking about the organization. It sounded like something I wanted to be a part of. And for the referrals that everybody's hiring, right? Like any entrepreneur or founder, CEO, they're going to have a hiring need at some point. I knew the referrals were going to come, and they certainly have. So shout out to BA for the referrals, but that wasn't the real reason that I wanted to join this. At times, I think that entrepreneurship can be a little lonely, right? 60, 70 hours a week. I mean, I work a lot because I love what I do. Mm-hmm. And unless you're talking to or embedded with other entrepreneurs, a lot of times people don't understand, right? It's not a normal 40-hour work week, right? Mm-hmm. We do a lot of stuff as a founder. And I've already met, honestly, probably 20 to 25 people in the 2.5 days that I've been here and I'm not even talking about referrals. I'm talking people that want to talk to me, want to help me understand how to scale, want to help me from a founder level that have either, built and scaled companies or exited and just want to be a resource. And they can be trusted when they're coming from an organization like this, right? So that to me, that's the referrals are great. That's cool. But the real value for me is being around people that have either done it or doing it, or a combination of both.
Mm-hmm. No, that's how I got enamored with Board of Advisors almost 11 years ago, was because that, it is a lonely world. It can be a lonely world if you don't have that network. And that's why, you got a whole bunch of them down the hall that are, that understand what you're doing. And it doesn't matter what walk of life they're in. And you actually probably have, when I say walk of life, I mean what sector they're in and what their participation is. But as you know, we've got, and we'll make sure you meet them all before you leave, or all the ones that are relevant to your space. But we've got a couple of different really great attorneys that specialize in different things, to branding people, to marketing people, to PR folks, to fractional and management and executive management, and it just goes on and on and on.
And I've already got some meetings scheduled already with a few of them for after this. Yeah, so the BA's been all over it. The members have been all over it. I'm seeing more value in 2.5 days than I expected to see a lot of value. I'm seeing more than I anticipated, which has been so cool.
That's terrific. Yeah. That's terrific, because you need it as an entrepreneur. You need it, for your business and your sanity, right?
Yes.
Because it's a little crazy what we do when we wake up unemployed every morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you haven't done that, it's hard to understand that.
Right. Yeah, you start explaining. You start, you sit at dinner and try to explain it to somebody that has never done it, and you just kind of quit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, there's no point in continuing. They're going to either think I'm crazy, or which they probably already do, or they're going to think we don't make much sense. So
right.
It's an interesting world.
It is.
So, how's all that go with your family? Is your family doing good with the 70 hours a week?
Yeah, my wife, and anytime I talk about this, I get a little emotional, so I'll try to
I got you.
But my wife is, she is so supportive. My wife has her own salon. So she's had a salon for 4 years. It's very successful. In the small town that we have, I would say it's probably, I'm biased, but truly the top salon, if not one of two. And we have several really good ones in our area. She has 10 girls that work for her. So she gets it. She knows what this life is like. But also in the success that we've had, she's been able to we have 3 kids. She's been able to pull back and spend more time with them. But what makes her special is when I told her, like, hey, I've been praying about this. Faith is a big part of our family. I've been praying about this, and I feel like I'm being led to step out on my own again. I need you to hold the fort down for a couple months as I scale this thing up and give me a shot. And done. Whatever you need.
That's awesome, isn't it?
Whatever you need. And so I will get to the office sometimes at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, because I can't sleep and I just want to get to work. And then I'll work till 5 or 6. And she will always FaceTime me when she's taking the kids to school. She'll call me, let me talk to them, tells them how hard I'm working. It's so, man, I couldn't do it without the family. They make it easy and manageable for me.
Oh yeah, there's nothing. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you better, I had a coach one day that said, when you get married, it's got to be perfect.
Yeah,
and don't ever settle for anything other than perfect. And
yes,
once you have that, it's just it's that rock solid formation that takes care of the kids, takes care of and helps and is productive, and
she does that while still working 40 hours.
Yeah,
a week.
that's
she's
and then incredible. She understands what it's like to have to make payroll next Friday.
Exactly.
So that's hard to teach.
But she also sees my passion for this. She sees what I'm building and what we've had the privilege of being able to do in such a short amount of. She can see the writing on the wall. She's very smart. She's very wise, and so she's all in too.
That's awesome.
And that helps.
That is awesome. And it's really neat that you guys both have a business to talk to each other about too, right? Because cool. There's similarities to all business. I've always said that it doesn't matter what the sector of the business is or the category of the business. It's all business, right? You've got to sell more than it costs to be there. You've got to make your payrolls. You've got to do all the legal things. You've got to do the marketing stuff, the branding. So everybody's got to do the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're selling, lollipops or space shuttles. I mean, it's all kind of the same thing. And the longer you're an entrepreneur, the more you realize that. And which, again, is why I love everybody in this room, because they're all smart and they're all wise and they all have experience. They say, well, wait a minute. 18 years ago, I did X, Y, and Z. And so they have a relevant story, even if they're in a completely different business. And you experience that with your, the diverse group that you're hiring for healthcare, for construction and all the different pieces. You understand all those differences and what those businesses are like. So It's interesting. It's really, really cool. Well, I'm thrilled to have you here. and I hope you keep enjoying the week. It's going to be a lot of fun the rest of the week, and that's the other thing we do here, which you probably noticed, is we, in addition to working really hard and long days and networking and commitments to each other and follow-up meetings and podcasting and all of the things that we do here, we also have an intentionality on fun, and building relationships and building friends. And I think I mentioned that to you earlier, that I never knew it when I joined 10 years ago. Well, I'm going to give this away. When I joined, 10 and a half years ago, that I'd get new best friends at 50.
Right.
And I've gotten new best friends out of it too. So that's it's just a cool community that I know you're going to enjoy, and we're glad to have another strong professional entrepreneur in the membership. So
thank you. It's a privilege. It really is.
Good. Well, best of luck to you. We're going to help all we can, and congratulations.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right.